Mary by Alex G is a great song, and there's been a few lessons done for it online, so I'm not going to go over what everyone else does. I've made a chart that's pretty straightforward. The chords that you've got to learn, everyone knows these major 7 chords, the G major 7 and the C major 7 that it starts with. Great chords. You slide up to that G major 7. Just do that for I think 8 bars. Then the first chord they land on is an E minor 9. Now, you hear that chord get bent. If you don't have a tremolo system on your guitar, you can bend the G and the B strings up and down to get that effect. If you've got a tremolo arm, it's much easier. Then you do this riff. Then we move down to a G and an E add 9. Back to the chords, the major 7 chords. Now that's the kind of the nuts and bolts of the verse, from the E minor 9 to those 2 chords again. Does that section through twice, and then it moves into this this section where the chords themselves are pretty straightforward. They're G, D minor, A minor, C, E minor, B minor, A minor, back to B minor. Now, there's something really pretty that goes above that. There's a second guitar. So if you're on your own and you want to play that and get that sound, it's kind of difficult. If you play that melody by itself, to play that, you can. You can play that melody simply by itself as a single note melody, but it's kind of empty without the chords going on underneath it. So what I'm doing for this lesson is showing you that bit that I played at the start, which is that melody combined with the chords. And I also thought that I would just kind of drag you through the thought process of how I worked that out as well, because that melody is really, really nice and it's really catchy, but to kind of support it with the chords, you need to do some fiddly things, right? So the first thing we do, you hear that highest note in the melody, that is this F sharp on the high E string 14th fret. Now, when you play the D string 12, G string 12, B string 15, and E string 14, that gives you the top 4 strings of a G major 7. Now, a G major 7 played like that down here would be like that. Imagine the last 4 strings, plus you add that D note, which is the 3rd fret of the B string. But you do it up here and you only play those top 4 strings. That's your starting point. Then you play the 2 12th fret notes on the G and the B string. It doesn't matter what finger you use for that. You can use the finger that's already there. But the next thing you're going to do is move to the chord that's underneath this, and I've written the chords across the very top of the tab on your chart, so you can kind of, if you just want to play the chords, you just play the chords. But it's over a D minor, and that's a D minor on the 10th fret. It's an E minor shape. But again, the last 4 strings. Then to carry on that melody, you add the 12th fret E, so it starts like this. What we're going to do is we're going to get a C major 7 here. If you play that, that sounds really nice. Now you can attack that particular chord a couple of ways. You can play the D and the E strings together, followed by the G and the B strings like that, or you can play B and E strings followed by D and G strings. Whatever sounds nice. Remember, you're trying to keep this melody going through, right? So you're then you move your pinky over to the 10th fret B string again, spelling out this melody. Now you're playing an E minor 7 here, adding your pinky onto the 10th and taking it off again on the E string. Then we want to hit a B minor chord. The best way I could think of to play that and keep this melody going is play this, I guess it's like a B minor 7 or some such thing, but it's 9th fret D string, 11th fret G string, 10th fret B string, 12th fret E string. Then you move your pinky across to the 12th fret B string, then slide that shape down to get down here, which is your A. And it's an A5 really, but it works over an A minor. Then the last little bit, you grab this 8th fret B string and you slide up to the 10th, back down to the 8th, 9th on the G, 7th on the G, and then you're landing on the F sharp minor chord. And it goes F sharp minor, A minor, F sharp minor, A minor. Okay? I'll play that through very, very slowly, and hopefully the tab will help you kind of guide yourself through it. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Chords proper over that part, which is the G, and you can play the G down here. Do it again. Then the E minor, B minor. And once you've done that, you've got most of the song covered. It goes through different sections of that and repeats them in different numbers, and if you follow your chart you'll see exactly what to do till you come to the second page of your chart where the bridge starts. Now the bridge is, again, this is a really clever piece of music. I really like this. One of my students asked to learn how to play this song and I didn't know about it. Great song. The bridge section starts on a B flat 6, which is this kind of funky chord here. Your B flat is on the 6th fret E string. Then you're playing what would be, if your root note was on the A string, would be a major 7 shape. So you've got 6th fret E string, mute the A string. Then you've got 8th fret D, 7th fret G, and 8th fret B. And you just pluck those strings. Or if you're strumming, you just make sure that the A and the E, the high E, are muted. And then you go to an E minor on the 7th fret. Then you go back to the B flat, but this time it's a B flat major. Do it again. Really interesting chords there. Then when it comes out of the bridge, it goes to these chords starting with the G again. E minor, B minor, A minor. And back to the G section again. This time it does it through twice. Actually, this time it does it 4 times, and there's a distorted guitar riff underneath it, which we're not doing now. Then finally, it gets back to the last verse, which is the, first of all, it's an instrumental verse to start with. Is singing now it sings the verse. great song by Alex G. I don't know who this guy is. I haven't listened to him before. It's a very interesting piece of music, and I really like it. It's not that hard to play. That bit, granted, that I've kind of concocted is a little bit fiddly, but if you want to get that key bit of melody on one guitar and have it sounding good, that's the best way I can figure out. Thank you for watching. We'll see you here again next time.